Good morning. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Judith Fleener. I am a grateful member of this community for over 25 years, and I will be doing the emceeing today because Reverend Mary Shelton, our beloved minister, got to take a vacation. And so we are wishing her and safe sailing on her vacation, and I'm going to MC. In a moment, I'm going to introduce, we have a really wonderful, excellent speaker today that you also know as a musician. So I will be introducing him shortly. But for right now, let's all stand and sing a song with him. And about halfway through the song, if you want to start going out and greeting your neighbors, that would be great. So Sky, take it away.
So good to see your smiling faces. You can see mine. Gonna let the joy wash over me. Gonna let the joy wash my worry away. Gonna let the joy wash over me. Gonna celebrate this precious day. Get some help with claps, okay? There we go. Gonna let the love flow out of me. Gonna let the love wash my worry away. Gonna let the love flow out of me. Gonna celebrate this precious day. All right, go around and say hi and let the laughter fall out of me. Gonna let the laughter wash my worry away. Gonna let the laughter fall out of me. Gonna celebrate this precious day. Gonna let the joy wash over me. Gonna let the joy wash my worry away. I'm gonna let the joy wash over me. Gonna celebrate this precious day. Gonna celebrate this precious day. I'm gonna celebrate this precious day.
Joyful, joyful. So I see that everybody is getting the hang of getting back into their seats on time. Thank you for that. If you will be seated now, and please remember to silence your cell phones as we move into our meditation song by Sky and our spiritual mind treatment, opening invocation by Marilyn Letzos, our beloved practitioner.
I am letting go. I am letting God. I am fully alive. Spirit by my side. I am letting go. I am letting God. I am fully alive. Spirit by my side. I am letting go. I am fully alive. Spirit by my side. Spirit by my side.
And so, I do let go. I let go of the need to control. I let go of the need to defend. And I simply allow something greater than I am, a power greater than I am, that has created everything, that is the source of all, that is present everywhere, for all time. This power is pure love, infinite, unperturbable peace, infinite supply for every need, present everywhere, potent in every situation. And this power is the reality of my being. I find it when I go within. I see it everywhere around me. This power has given everything. This power is for me. The universe is for me and never, ever against me. And as this is true for me, it is true for everyone. And if I am to receive, then I must let go and trust. I must open to that power that is greater than I am and allow it to show me the way and to make the way clear. And once again, as this is true for me, it is true for everyone. And so I now speak my word for a new space to be created in every heart, a new receptivity, a new idea that wants to be explored this morning, now. New ideas, new perspectives, new ways of seeing everything. Synchronicity and flow have announced themselves this morning in the form of Sky Nelson, his music, and his message. And I am so grateful for this great happening this morning now, for this openness of heart, for this readiness to receive. For Spirit can only do for us what Spirit can do through us. And so I give thanks again for this exquisite receptivity. And now with joyful anticipation, I give thanks and let this word go into the law where it is already so. And so it is.
I am letting go. I am letting God. I am fully alive. Spirit by my side. Spirit by my side. Spirit by my side.
How deep we have already gone this morning. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Marilyn. I think we can all go home now, except for there's a lot more to be done. So it is my pleasure now to introduce my good friend, Sky Nelson Isaacson, who many of you probably know as a musician. You know, he's created multiple CDs, 11 various albums to date, starting back when he was in high school to now. I was lucky enough to be invited many years ago to one of his early CD release parties that was out in Inverness, in someone's home, in a very warm environment. And I'll tell you, that's where you really see the heart of this man. He goes beyond just a performing musician, but he is just a loving soul. But what you also might not know about him is that he is a physicist, graduated with a degree in physics, and has been studying synchronicity for years. And after the encouragement of many people who have been in his workshops, etc., he authored his first book, Living in the Flow. And recently, he has now authored his second book, which is tied to the title of his talk today, which is Leap into Wholeness: How the World is Programmed to Help Us Grow, Heal, and Adapt. And so I know he's going to have an awful lot of exciting things to tell us and share with us today and open us up. And if you want to get the books at the end at the end, he has them in the back. So at this point, I would like to welcome my good friend, who we've shared the stage with multiple times, where when you're on the speaking circuit for United Centers for Spiritual Living, you show up, you don't know who the musician's going to be, and whenever I walked in the door and I saw a Sky, I'm like, oh, good. It's going to be a good service. So, welcome, Sky.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How good it is to see everybody today. Isn't it good to be here? Yeah. It's a great feeling to come to the end of the week and get to be together. So I want to sing a new song today. I wanted to just sort of jump off the deep end and sing one that is new in the past year, hasn't been recorded yet, but it speaks to how we rise above whatever's going on in our hearts and in our minds to find that deep place in ourselves that's flying. The history of flying takes me back to younger years when we were young at heart, young at heart. I had no fear of dying, but my breath burned with impatience just to reach the start, the starting line. I could feel the air rushing through my hair, but I didn't care what destination called. It's a thing of beauty. If you let it move you, you may feel like you have no control. But when you look beneath you and feel the sky support you, empty air can lift a happy soul. Da 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 da, da 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 da. So many things can happen to upset our sense of balance as we try to grow, try to grow. I lifted up my eyes above the struggle and the fight to see where I could go. Where can we go? I could feel the air rushing through my hair. I don't really care what destination calls. It's a thing of beauty. If you let it move you, you may feel like you have no control. But when you look beneath you and feel the sky support you, empty air can lift a happy soul. La da 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 da, da 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 da. When I try to catch the world, it just keeps spinning, and the ground beneath our feet is prone to shifting. I let the empty space within me find its way around, lift off the ground. It's a thing of beauty. If you let it move you, you may feel like you have no control. And when you look beneath you and feel the sky support you, empty air can lift a happy soul. Empty air can lift a happy soul. right. It's such a reminder that the lightheartedness that we all have inside of us can lift us up no matter what we've done, no matter what we're going through. We have access to that lightheartedness, don't we? It's there within each of us. So I want to talk today about synchronicity and flow, starting from wholeness in this new year. Starting from wholeness. Let me ask you a question. What is in common between the Big Bang Theory? I know I'm a physicist and some of you are not physicists, but you know what the Big Bang Theory is, the explosion of all the matter and particles into the universe in the scientific model. What's the similarity in common between that Big Bang Theory and the book of Genesis, the creation story in the Western religions, in the Old Testament? What's in common? The beginning, the creation of the light. I'm going to suggest that it's the question that's in common, because they're both answering the same question. That question is, how do we get something out of nothing? How do we get something out of nothing? And we sort of move along with our lives as if that's the question, right? We don't even remember that that's the question we're asking. But let's go to the next slide. It's kind of like an empty apartment. How do I fill up my apartment with furniture and artwork on the walls? Well, our life is not really that way. I don't think we have to fill our lives with stuff in order to feel value. I don't think if we don't do anything with our day, we haven't accomplished anything. Meditation is a very profound accomplishment. Space for quiet conversation or time alone or sleep or rest is a very profound accomplishment. And so in this model that we have with the Big Bang Theory and the Genesis story, we start from this place of like this emptiness and lack to begin with, and we fill it up, right? If we don't have enough money, we might lose our house or our friends because we have to fill our pockets and we have to have the latest devices. All of this lack that comes from this question at the foundation. How do we get something from nothing? Does that resonate for you in a new way? Okay, so is there a better question? Yeah, there's a better question. How do we get something from everything? How do we get something from everything? From all the possibilities that our life holds for us, how do we get who we actually are from that? I want you to picture a garden rather than an empty room. A garden is blooming and growing all the time. If you leave a garden alone for a day, what happens? It grows. It grows on its own, with just some sunlight. You just have to water it occasionally. The gardener's job most of the time is pulling out weeds and trimming dead branches, taking care and tending the garden by pulling out what it doesn't belong anymore. And that's our role. That's our job in a cosmos where we start from wholeness. To peel away what doesn't fit us anymore, what is no longer relevant for our life and who we want to be. We don't have to create that person who we want to be. We're already that. So when we start from wholeness, we're just looking at how do I peel away what no longer serves me. I had an experience this past October where I was very busy. So the past year, actually, I've been taking a class called Claim Your Voice. And as a speaker and as a teacher, I've found over the past 2 years with the global situation that's happened and the many different aspects of intensity and things that have affected all of us, I've had a hard time accessing my voice, and my jaw's been tight, and I've felt sort of the tension of all that sort of showing up here in my jaw and my throat. And so does anybody have the experience of having sort of the tension or anxiety of their life show up in parts of their body? Okay. So for me, it was my jaw, and I was doing some work on TMJ, which is a massage technique to loosen up my jaw. And in October, I was really focused on doing this work and leading courses and building my social media presence and all this really important work, right, for getting my work out there. And I get a text message out of the blue on my phone, and I look at it. It's my brother. And he says, "Do you want to come join our band rehearsal this Wednesday?" And, there's a part of me, this little kid in me, its response was like this: "Yeah!" I've never been in a band with my brother. I mean, I'm 47 years old, and he's 2 years older than me. We've never played in a full band, like our own band together. In high school, we played in, like, the rock band in school, but we never had a band. And so he's inviting me to be in his band. How cool is that? But that wasn't what I said. What I said was, let me think about it. And I thought about it for a couple days. I talked with my coach, and she tried to coach me into saying, this is a lovely experience. You get to open yourself up to new possibilities. But I was just in the space of, I'm all about commitment. I want to commit to what I've already taken on. I want to make this other work happen all the way. I've got to focus everything. And it was like this young kid in me was feeling sad because I was pulling all my energy towards this job I had to do. Any of you do that sometimes? Okay. So I was putting all my energy towards this job I had to do and saying no to this out-of-the-blue offer of music. And I said no to my brother, and I missed the rehearsal, and I called him and I asked, how was the rehearsal? And he said, well, we had to cancel because we didn't have a keyboard player. And in that moment, I realized both that I knew I wanted to play in the band, and also that it wasn't just about me, that they needed me to play in the band. There was another reason for me to do it. And I said, I want to come to the next rehearsal. So I learned my lesson the second time. Sometimes it takes me 3 or 10 or 20 times, but I learned it the second time. And I went to the next rehearsal. And I went to the next rehearsal. And now it's been 2 or 3 months. We've had a lot of rehearsals. There's no way I would ever go back. Of course I'm in this band. It's the best thing for me. And guess what? It was the thing that helped me regain confidence in my voice and loosen up my singing voice, find my presence with people when I've been so out of practice. And how did I know it was going to come from this experience with music when I was so focused on trying to get it with my teaching? So synchronicities are unexpected events, and we don't see the meaning of them right away. I get a text message from my brother. I don't know really what it's really aiming towards. And I have to find some way to have some faith or see the bigger picture to understand how this little experience, which is happening on 3:35 on a Sunday afternoon or whatever, is tying into the big picture of my life for the next 6 months. So I want to give you some tools today to notice those moments and see how they may tie into your future. So you can create a future from wholeness. You can carve away what doesn't match you where you're going right now and stay aligned with what you're trying to create. Does that sound like a good end zone for us today? Yeah. Okay, great. So yes, an unusual circumstance whose meaning becomes clear in the future. That's my definition of synchronicity. So let's back up a couple of slides. One more. No, that was it, the rainbow. I want to teach you about rainbows because in my research, I am a physicist and I've got a master's degree in physics, and my latest research that got published last year is on wholeness. And my assertion is that we go about in science thinking that everything can be divided into parts, right? Everything can be divided up and separated. Space, the way we think about space is you and I are separate. My property has a boundary line with my neighbor. My country has laws that apply within those boundaries. And if I want something, if I don't have enough resources in my space, I have to go to somebody else's space and take those resources. So there's this way in which our very notion of space is already this sense of how do I create something from nothing, of lack, of even exploitation of each other. And we wonder why we feel separate from each other. I wonder why I feel isolated in my house when my brother texts me to play in his band and I say no. I'm choosing that. And my basic understanding of space and time sort of reinforces that, this separateness, this isolation. So what I've done in my research is show that space and time are actually holistic also. Both can be true, separateness and holism. And a rainbow illustrates this. So a rainbow forms under very specific circumstances. There's a sun over there, and clouds or rain behind me, and then the light from the sun travels through the air to the clouds, bounces off them, and bends as it travels through the raindrops, so that when it gets to my eyes, it looks like this. And what happens is white light gets separated into its parts. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. You all remember that from elementary school? Roy G. Biv. But what's really important here, here's the key idea. When you see the red, you're really seeing white light minus orange, yellow, blue, and green. You're seeing the wholeness minus whatever's been taken away, right? The sun is not actually shining red light, it's shining white light, and you're removing parts of it to reveal the red. And if you want to reveal blue, you remove the red and the indigo and the green. So I want to invite you to look at your life this way, your own wholeness. What can you remove to reveal a solution? Not how do I go about fixing these problems in my life, but how do I notice the place in me that says no to things I love? When I got that text message from my brother, my tendency was to say no. And so my practice is to say not no. To say not no. I didn't actually say yes to the band. The first thing I did was I said not no. I decided not to say no and then see what emerges from that. So I like to be positive, and in Science of Mind, we like to frame things affirmatively. But I want to invite you not to jump to yes. It's not always the right thing to say yes to things. Over-optimism or burnout or whatever might come from that. But you can start by practicing not no. Because that clues you into when you're saying no in your life. The times when you're pushing away goodness, like my brother's band rehearsal. And so carving away the possibilities from all those branches of this tree that we're going to look at in a minute. We're growing on this tree in the garden of life, and there's all these branches, and as we travel through the tree, we're carving away the ones that don't fit us. And the choices we make along the way determine where we end up on that tree. So the first piece I want to leave you with is saying not no, starting from there and seeing what emerges once you stop saying no to the things that you love, that your heart says yes to. So this story continues. This is perfect, thank you. The story continues. This was not the only event in music that happened synchronistically for me. It's a path of flow with my brother. So that was the initial moment when I realized that I wanted to play more music. The way that I think synchronicity operates, how many of you can think of an example of an unusual coincidence that was a synchronicity in your life in the past 6 months or a year? Show of hands. Okay. It doesn't always come to us right away, but I guarantee you've had moments of situations where you've met somebody or gotten information from an article that you read in a magazine that was timely and relevant for you. Yeah? And it's about timely information. It's about a text message from my brother that leads me to understand that 3 months later I'm going to be really happy playing in his band. And I can't see that ahead of time, but I can notice I get this text message, I'm going to follow my heart and see where it leads. And 3 months later, I'm playing in his band and having a great time. And also, remember, addressing the part of me that was tense in my jaw and feeling tight and insecure. Like that all started to ease up from this experience. And I had another invitation then. So the second synchronicity that happened for me was my cousin invited me to play for his Halloween party. He said his pianist quit, or couldn't show up. and invited me to come play. And now, I was nervous. How many of you would be nervous if you were invited to do something at a Halloween party to entertain? Right? I mean, I was nervous. And, but I said not no, right? I knew better than to say no, so I told them I would be there. And I showed up at the party, and I get to the door, and there's a lot of people there, and they're wearing costumes and masks, so I can't see them. I assume I know nobody. And there's a piano in the corner, just sitting there alone, like not amplified, not pulled out to entertain. And I'm just thinking, I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to somehow bring everybody's attention to the music, and I'm going to play songs, and are they going to be good songs? And I get really insecure about what kind of music I'm playing and if people are liking it or not. So I'm just imagining all of this, and I'm feeling really insecure about being there. So I went to the bathroom, the best place to go, right? I went to the bathroom, and I closed the door, and I locked it. And I was texting my wife, and I was saying, I might just come home because this feels really intimidating, and I don't think this is the right place for me to be. But before I sent the text, I just knew in myself, in my heart, that the only thing I knew how to do was to say not no. To not get in the car and go home, because I knew that in the car I would feel regretful. Like, I probably should have stayed. Maybe I should turn around, and I might turn around and go back. And I'd wasted a lot of time in this intermediate zone of insecurity and uncertainty when life was inviting me. There was a piano right there. There were people right there that were probably loving, generous individuals. I don't know. I assume they were, even though my brain was telling me that they were probably not going to be nice and scary to me. So you know what I mean? Like your brain tells you, like, these people aren't good. They're not going to be nice to me. I'm going to be, threatened by them. My limbic brain is going crazy. So, but I knew in my heart that I could connect with these people. So I decided to leave the bathroom and go out and sit at the piano. As I walk out of the door, I run into somebody. It's my friend Jean from Point Reyes, where I grew up, from elementary school. And Jean was in a band with me 20 years ago. So now, suddenly I know somebody at the party who's a musician, who knows me and knows what I do, and already I felt more filled up and confident. So I went and I sat at the piano. I played some songs, got some momentum going. Other people started to join and listen in and sing. And by the end of the night, I had everybody singing. We had a great time. So I'm so glad that I said not no. I'm so glad that I stayed with it. Can you think of a time in your life when you've been called to stay with it, or it's something in your life right now that you're called to stay with that feels nervous for you, or maybe some anxiety? Yeah? And what would it look like to say not no to that? To stay with it? I see some people taking deeper breaths. For me, I get caught in my breath, like tense around how am I going to handle this. And then when I decide to stay with it, I just decide I'm going to stay with it. I don't say how I'm going to do it. I don't force myself to do it all the way or commit to the whole project, but I just say not no. Okay, I'm going to stay with this. It's uncomfortable because I do have to stay with something that's going to be hard for me. But it also relaxes me because I know that I'm on the right path. I think this is the life we're being called to live. It's uncomfortable because it challenges us at the core of who we are. But we know that we're on the right path. And so deep inside, we can take a deeper breath. So I invite that for you this year. I invite for you lots of chances to say not no in your life. Whatever that looks like for you. Not jumping ahead to the outcome, but just saying not no in the moment. What's the next right step? Let me show you how I think this works. So you know you're not alone in this. It's not just you. The universe is supporting this. Synchronicity is going to give you the experiences you need to be successful at the things you want to accomplish this year. So this tree, let's go back actually. This tree here is the tree of possibilities. It's your journey. You're walking along these branches of your journey, and there's all these apples. Has anybody seen my apple tree model before? No, Judith has. Okay. What do you think the apples represent? Knowledge. Yeah, they do. In back to the biblical story, right? What else? Say it again. The devil. The devil. Temptation for what we want. Opportunity. And is there a dividing line between these things, you know? It's food, yeah. And so the apples represent sort of all of these things, the anticipation that we have of life, the expectation that we have of life. The apples represent what we expect to create, and that might be unconscious in ourselves. I wasn't expecting to create a musical band for myself, but part of me was yearning for that confidence with my voice, for the connection with people, and I didn't know how to make that happen. So the apples on the tree represent those outcomes where I have the experience of more confidence and more connectedness. The apples on the tree represent the experiences where you feel more alive, more in relationship with your partner or your kids or your parents, more successful at work. It's the experience that you're anticipating in your life. And there's lots of ways it could happen. All these different branches. I could be in a band with my brother. I could be in a room playing music with at my cousin's party. I could be at an open mic in my town that I've joined some open mics recently. Because of this journey, like one led to the next, led to the next. Now I'm in a place of confidence where I'm going to open mics and playing more. So the apples are those outcomes where we have the connection that we want, that we expect from life, that we anticipate. And to get there, we have to travel the path. But apples are heavy, so they weigh down the branches. So those future outcomes that you're expecting, those parts of life that you're anticipating, that you're focusing on, are weighing down the possibilities so that something has to happen to get you there. Do you see? So like when I was imagining in my heart being more musical and confident, something had to happen to get me there, to that branch. And that was my brother's text. So my brother's text was this out of the blue thing that happened, but it led to these branches with the apples. So I want you to imagine, you don't have to know what it is that you're going for. You don't have to know what your intentions are 100%. You can start looking at the things happening in your life and ask yourself, what is this reminding me of? Can you think of something in your life right now that's happening that is reminding you of who you want to be? Yeah? Of what you want to carve away that's no longer serving you, and where you want to focus, what branches you want to focus on. That's what starting from wholeness means. Starting from the wholeness of all those possibilities, recognizing the synchronicities that come out of the whole on a random text message from my brother or a call from my friend, my cousin, that are reminders of who I want to be. And making those choices that move us along the tree to create something out of everything, out of all those possibilities. So finally, let's go to the last slide here. The Lorax cycle can help you remember how to do this. It starts with listening to life. Notice the messages you get. Notice the magazines you read. Notice the TV shows you watch. What are the messages? Are they reminding you of yourself in some way in your life? What invitations have you received? Can you tell whether they're from the devil or from the Bible, the apple tree, or you don't know what the motive is for each thing until later. So you have to start by listening. And then open. I was not open in my text message conversation with my brother. I said no, but then I opened up after that. So openness is something we have to cultivate. Saying not no. And then reflect. And this is where we connect the dots. From the wholeness, we can connect the dots between the challenges we're facing, the choices we make to get along our journey, and the changes that we want to experience as a result. So from challenge to choice to change. That's what starting from wholeness is about. And by listening, opening, and reflecting, we can start to see how does all this fit together for us. And sometimes we need to release. I had to release my attachment to, being very serious and focusing on my studies in order to accept the new possibility of being in a band and rehearsing. So sometimes we have to release what we're attached to in order to move forward with the possibility. And then to act. We're all pretty good at taking action. But when you start with listening and opening and reflecting and releasing and then acting, then you start to be able to work with the cosmos and start to make sense of these opportunities. And then don't give up. Keep this process moving. Keep listening. So finally, I want to invite you, next slide, just to this year. Dial. That's fine. The last slide says this. This year I invite you to say not no in 1,000 little ways. And notice, like for me, I'm so grateful that I've come some distance down this road of becoming less anxious, of recovering from my isolation that I've felt, and the way my body has responded by closing up. And so it's this journey of opening that's unfolded for me in a way that I didn't expect. And I really had to open up and let go of my schedule, of my plans, in order to go through that healing. And it's a healing that's in process. And I promise you it will keep being in process for me. And I'm guessing it's a process for you as well, whatever your healing is. But the path of flow will lead you to the things you need to know in order to do the next thing along that journey for yourself. Does that sound like a plan for you too? Yeah. Great. So that's my message this morning. Say not no in 1,000 little ways. Thank you.
Thank you, Sky.
Thank you.
So let's just take a minute now to anchor saying not no in 1,000 little ways. So everyone take a breath, let it out, and go within. As we remember that we are coming from wholeness, that everything that we need in our lives is right here, right now, that we are that wholeness. There is no separation. And it is us that choose what to take away from the white light to start to bring into form the direction that we want to go. And so in this knowingness that we are the wholeness, I claim a shift in consciousness, allowing each and every person here to know how to say not no. To strengthen that muscle of being the blessed wholeness, saying not no, and allowing synchronicity to flow through, bringing us forth into radiant colors. And so knowing this place and allowing it to come forth, I just give thanks for the multitude of colors and awareness that come from saying not no. And I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so now is the time where we get to consciously say not no to giving. You know, when somebody asks me to do something, a lot of times my normal reaction is, ooh, no, right? That sometimes comes true with that letting go of our own good as well, our money. But what I have learned is that flow happens when I am willing to contribute to the world. It comes back to me. And so let's hold this gift that we have right now. And if you don't have if you're online, by the way, welcome to all the online people. If you are online and you want to text your gift, here's the number, 415-779-6713.
7613. That's good.
Okay, so I'm dyslexic, so do what the slide says. And just hold in your heart, remembering that this is just a representation of the wholeness. That's what money is. It's a representation of the wholeness that is all present all the time. And we individualize it into these things called currencies that have trust in them. But really, the source of all of that is from the wholeness. And so let's just take our gift in our hand and repeat with me. This gift is God in action. I now send it forth and to prosper. I know everywhere it goes leading a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
Do you mind removing the binder? Judith? Do you mind removing the binder? Probably not, but maybe. The world needs you to aim your bow. The world needs you to fire your arrows. There's no one else can do the things you need to do. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. Another fire rages in the story of our passions. We set the stage for this a long time ago. Our frame of mind resists the changing of the seasons. I find it hard to let the old habits go. And if I feel lost within the crowd, declare yourself and shout your name out loud. 'Cause the world needs you to aim your bow. The world needs you to fire your arrows. 'Cause no one else can do the things you need to do. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. Somebody out there needs your personal attention. The inspiration that you bring is never fake. The mystery will soon surrender you its secrets. You'll do it with a style no one can imitate. And if you feel lost within the crowd, declare yourself and shout your name out loud. 'Cause the world needs you to aim your bow. The world needs you to fire your arrows. 'Cause no one else can do the things you need to do. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. No one's got a plan like yours. Life never came this way before. And if you don't release it, your vision dies. Pull the string back to your ear. Release the arrow tip and steer it past the known horizon where beauty lies. 'Cause the world needs you to aim your bow. The world needs you to fire your arrows. No one else can do the things you need to do. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you to aim your bow. The world needs you to fire your arrows. No one else can do the things you need to do. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you. The world needs you.
So, as we accept these gifts, let us just know that this is what the world needs. These are the gifts the world needs. And we give them with a glad heart so that they can go and help individuals transform one heart and one mind at a time. And so it is. And so now is the time when we want to welcome our newcomers. So if you are here at Golden Gate Center for the first time, please know that at the back table here, there are these little blue cards you can fill out and we can get to know you better. There's also, you'll get a little book called Nourishing Thoughts, written by our beloved Reverend Mary, who put together the book so that you would have something every day, even when you're not here. Also, at that back table, if I am correct, you have your books, Sky?
Yeah.
So the two books and the CDs are back there. So you can go home with Sky if you want. And I noticed that Lorax synchronicity circle or what to do, it was really small print for an older person like me. So if you want to really study it and look into it more, you can go to Sky's website, which is synchronicityinstitute.com.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's that and a whole bunch of other rich information. So please, whether you're online or here in person, feel free to go to that site and take a look at all of that information. I know I will be.
Thank you.
Sky, I want to thank you again for coming to our community. Let's just give Sky another big round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And now it's time to thank everyone else as well. So I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the people who made today's service possible, starting with Sky and then the Frost family. I always love it when the Frost family puts together one of their altars here. This altar here is looking at how things in your garden grow kind of without even your help sometimes. I loved how you said what we're doing most of the time is pruning and weeding. The stuff keeps coming, right? So it has seeds. It has the plants in the early germination stage. It has the little gnomes that are watching over it. So please take a look at this beautiful look of the growth that is in your world. And thank you to Jim and William for always taking care of the sound and the streaming, to the people online, I'm sure, and thank you to the Frost also. Today was the Frost family day. They did the PowerPoint for us today as well. So the Frosts are always those kind of small, quiet people in the back of the room doing a lot. I just want to recognize them today, so thank you very much. And to our practitioners, please never go home with something heavy on your heart. We have practitioners here that will do a short little prayer with you to celebrate a joy that you have or to help you in a healing that you need to have. So now we go to the announcements. First, I would like to invite up Leslie to make an announcement about her class, The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment.
Well, this class is a brand new curriculum with a book that was written several years ago, and it's called The 5 Steps to Freedom, Introduction to Spiritual Mind Treatment. It's 8 weeks. It's really exciting. It goes step by step, and it follows the synchronicity that was the primary topic today. So it's perfect timing. Thank you.
And just to remind you about the announcement from last week when we had Posey online, she's doing money, metaphysics, and the meaning of life. This is a course that starts on February 21st, but you do have to have your registration in by January 31st. It's $220, and you can just go to the classes tab right there on the website and register for that. It will be on Mondays from 2 to 5 on Zoom. So anyone in the world who's watching us from wherever you're watching, this one is one that you can do on Zoom. And the last is that, Reverend Mary has promised that we will be sharing a climate tip each week, and this is today's tip. Visit ohmconnect.org for ways to save money on electricity and also earn income. So with that, Let's have our practitioners surround the room so we can go into a chamber of prayer. Box up. So if you don't want to meet specifically with somebody, you can always put a prayer on our prayer box, and the practitioners will be praying on it for you while they're at home. And so now let's just take this message into our heart as our practitioners lead us in a chamber of prayer. And now, please stand for our closing song and benediction. I now walk, so whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted. With whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are eternally one. So it is.
I release, I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, 'cause I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife, with my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, 'cause I'm only here for God. Let me hear you. I release, I let go, let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide, 'cause I'm only here for God. No more trouble, no more strife, with my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit, I'm only here for God. We are free in the Spirit, yes, we're only here for God. I am free in the Spirit, yes, we're only here for God.